Hey guys, it's Shiro. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about this spiritual phenomenon called twin flames. Now, I recently finished watching the Amazon Prime video and the Netflix video on this group called Twin Flame Universe. So I thought, you know what? Let's talk about these two documentaries and what this means for people nowadays and what this group is really about. So let's have some fun. Let's dig in. First off, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Shiro. I am someone who was actually part of the group just for a little bit. I didn't go into the group like some people did in the documentaries. I was on the twin flame journey for about maybe like 4 years, and I met my twin 4 years. I don't remember anymore, to be honest. I met my twin flame in 2017, and it's been a roller coaster of a ride. So I am going to talk about these two documentaries and this group based on as someone who was part of the journey but not entirely part of the group like they were in the documentaries. I did follow the group on Instagram. I did not follow their Facebook. I didn't buy any of their classes because, let's face it, people are poor and I had rent and bills, so I didn't really pay for them. Yeah, so I'm giving the perspective of someone who has been in the journey and yet still an outsider looking in. So first and foremost, what is a twin flame? So according to them and a lot of other people, a twin flame is the other half of your soul. So it's somebody who split. So you guys both were just one soul. You guys split when you came and ascended to Earth, and your purpose is to find your way back to one another. It sounds a little ridiculous in my opinion. I never believed that. Even when I was on the journey, I agreed with this intense connection. But in terms of it being the other half of my soul, I found that really kind of stupid. No, I'm my own person. I'm my own soul. I'm my own free will. So my twin flame and I, we met online. 2013, we were both video gamers. We met in a video game, Rainbow Six Siege to be specific. Anybody who plays that, and it was an intense connection from the start. So it was just a lot of like, oh my god, this is the person that was meant for me. It's a weird connection. I haven't really met this person before, but it was just lots of talking, lots of conversations, and I felt like this was like the one person that I just really needed to be with. It was really weird. Like anybody who's been on the twin flame or met their twin flame, it's just a strong, weird connection. We did not go into union, which is fine. um, we just, I don't know. It became a couple years of just me being angry, confused, and just fed up with whatever was going on. He was in a committed relationship, and I was not going to get in the middle of that. That is not who I am. We got to respect boundaries. We got to respect where people are. And I guess, I grew up in a very spiritual household. I grew up as someone who learned a lot about different teachings. And, I grew up in a household that respected my views. So long as I don't hurt other people. My parents were pretty accepting. And so, we did a lot of meditation, stuff like that. So when it came to twin flames, it was something kind of up my alley, but it wasn't. I was always taught to take everything with a grain of salt. So when I found the group Twin Flame Universe, there was something in my gut that was telling me not to go, I guess, all the way deep. Just something didn't feel right. I was, I read tarot, I read all this type of stuff, and so for me, I just felt like, even though they seemed on the outside to be very, um, like I said, up my alley, it's just something didn't feel right. So I just, again, I just follow them on Instagram. I see some of their posts. Yeah. So, who are the two leaders of this group? Jeff and Shaleia. So, Jeff is from, I think, Ohio. I kind of forgot. And Shaleia is from Canada. She immigrated to Sedona, Arizona. I can't remember how old she was. To be honest, I should have taken notes, but I didn't. And her and Jeff met online. They went to Hawaii, and then they came over here and started their Twin Flame Universe group. They had a bunch of other groups before. They had like a sexual ascension school. They had like an intimacy school. They had a bunch of different business models that I will call business models because essentially this is what it is. And I think they just settled with Twin Flame Universe because it became the model that worked the most. So yeah, that's the quick little story. They were making YouTube videos. I think from what I heard, they were living with a friend at first. They were in Hawaii and then they moved back to Ohio, and I think now they live, God, I can't remember, Wyoming, Montana, some country place where you get a lot of land. And they really started talking about harmonious union, harmonious twin flame union. Now, what does twin flame union look like? Practically, from what I understood, was just coming together with your ultimate lover and partner. And from the outside, that looks kind of good. Like, it doesn't look bad. Everybody wants a partnership. Everybody wants that perfect love. And everybody just wants to feel at peace. I remember when I was on my twin flame journey, I was very angry. When I started on the journey, I had a lot of issues with my mother specifically. My mother and I fought all the time, and I never understood why. Before I met my twin flame, my biggest relationship was an abusive one. And I think that contributed to the problems I had, especially with my mother, because she saw the problems, tried to help me. I kind of didn't want to see it at first. So this when I saw Twin Flame Universe, they were talking about a lot of practices that I already knew about, but that seems really good. Self-reflection, healing, mirror work, which is their really, really big exercise. That, for one, mirror work is an old practice. It's not new. It's not only for them. It is an old. I believe it would be Buddhist. It could be back into Hinduism. I'm not sure, but I know in certain in Buddhism, it does talk about self-reflection. How certain choices lead us to suffering. That kind of stuff. But that's I had a brain fart. That's what drew me to their group. But again, there was just this gut feeling I couldn't let go of that was telling me something's not right here. And so I kind of ignored Jeff and Shaleia until I heard about the Vice article. Now, this is what got me a little confused, or like, not confused. How do I say? It rubs me the wrong way, because I remember I was looking through YouTube, not YouTube. I'm sorry, Instagram. Brain fart. And they were like asking people to come up to arms, in a sense, and kind of attack the article, and they were asking their followers to almost like override the system, the Vice um, article, the website that it was on, and they were telling people, let's share our experiences with our twin flames and da da da. So they're pretty much calling people up to arms, and that really rubbed me the wrong way. And as I looked a little more into Jeff and Shaleia, I started noticing how they were very materialistic. And that for me rubbed me the wrong way. Because in my understanding of what the twin flame journey was, it was about a spiritual ascension. Um, at the time, I just got really busy with work, so I ignored them. I even forgot I followed them. Fast forward to now, I saw the Amazon documentary and the Netflix documentary, and those were just crazy for me because it was reconfirming what I felt in my gut that something was not right. Um, and so when I first saw the Amazon one, I feel like it didn't go in depth enough. The Netflix one had a lot more video evidence. One of the girls in the Netflix video had um, like a master, God, how do I say, like a master driver. I'm sorry. She had like a master driver that had a lot more videos of what Jeff was saying. And it was really, really shocking. And so I really hope that there's people in the Twin Flame Journey or community here watching this so they can hear a different perspective from somebody who was in the journey or was under the label of the journey. I don't necessarily use the label anymore. I do thank the label because it brought me back to having my own faith. Um, but it is a very dangerous label. In the Amazon one, it had more of the author who wrote the Vanity Fair article about Twin Flame Universe, and she was just talking more about, it goes a lot more into Jeff and Shaleia's background, how they met, how they grew up, and just the business aspect of what they're doing, and showing how much people are paying. There was, I think the ultimate package was almost $8,000, and when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, $8,000, and people are paying this money. And when I compare it to the Netflix series shows a lot more videos of Jeff being abusive. There was a video where Shaleia was saying she had a download of God. First of all, she says God as if God is a man. God transcends what he transcends gender of the earthly realm for me. If people want to believe God is a he, I mean, go right ahead, but God is not a person. We cannot personify God. But she said she got a download from God saying that the image of Jesus was Jeff. No. What? So he starts running with this, I guess, story that he is Jesus, and that it was the image of him, that he is the prophecy, or that he is, I can't understand what he was trying to get at, but no, that image in the church is Cesare Borgia, and yeah, that was the image given her, and he was saying it was not an Israeli man, it was me, or no, it wasn't. I mean, to be fair, no one really knows how Jesus looks like, but I will guarantee my life that it did not look like you. And that's such a dangerous way of just like, he's trying to get people to believe that he's Jesus, and it sounds exactly like those Mormon cults where it's the one leader and he marries everybody else, and like it's this polygamous cults and stuff, and it's like an abuse of power. Like the moment somebody says that they are Jesus, it's an abuse of power. And in the more I start watching the Netflix series especially, it goes a lot more into details on like what they did to the followers, especially those that really reached high up in the ranks. One of the girls in the TV series, Keely, she was very involved as a higher up, and she just escaped 2 years ago, and it takes a lot of courage to escape. So I mean, she's so brave, especially being as a higher up with what she had to deal with. She is so brave for escaping, and I hope she can find the forgiveness in herself for what she did, because what Jeff and Shaleia did, they had these long, long talks with people, and they had these long healing sessions with people. And the dangerous part about these type of sessions is that you are wearing down the person's like mental strength. So people become coerced because they are very exhausted. They are mentally exhausted, especially the higher ups who, according to the series, had a lot of responsibilities within the company, barely making ends meet, and just worshiping Jeff and Shaleia. And that's exactly how they want the crowd or the masses to view them. And it was so concerning, and it actually saddened me because there are so many people, because I know the group is growing. It's huge. And I'm just like, why? And like I said, from the outside, it looks very positive. It looks great. They talk about self-love, self-healing, and those are all great messages. And that's just to indoctrinate you into their quote-unquote teachings, which, by the way, are just recycled old teachings. This is not stuff that they've come up with. These are stuff that's been around for hundreds of thousands of years. So many religions talk about these same teachings, and they're so much cheaper than $8,000. And so Keely has this master drive, and she was showing just videos of the vulgarness of Jeff, talking about how his business relies on them, and how their life meaning or their life purpose is to be their ascension coach, and to work for them practically for free. And people believe it, and people buy it. And I'm just in shock that for me, I find it really odd that so many people follow such stupidity. I'm sorry, but then we have to start. I have to start thinking about how I was. We all want love. We all want that perfect partner. I mean, let's face it, the dating scene is just not good. It's not good, and they're capitalizing on that. And it's so disgusting to see how they find people's weaknesses, because I think it was in the Amazon one, they talk more about how they play on people's trauma. I believe there was a woman in the Amazon one who, her face was blurred, she was anonymous, but in the video call, she was, in a sense, seeking help to understand what she needs to do, because her twin flame had become abusive. And so their response was for her to do the mirror exercise and reflect on why she's abusing herself. And I just thought that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Why would you say that to anybody? If there is a chance of, or if there's anything of domestic violence going on and they're turning to you, it is your responsibility to help them get them out. Tell them, bring them back down to earth and say, you know what? It's a dangerous situation. You need to seek help. You need to get out. Call the police. If this person, I think she was crying and she was saying how the person was fucking with her family, and Jeff just laughed at her. And then she started crying and he laughed at her some more. And I said, excuse me, how dare you call yourself Jesus and then laugh at someone who is hurting and is was in so much pain. How dare you? That is just the lowest of the low. There was another okay, there were instances, not instances, there are actual recordings where, because twin flame unions was not happening like they wanted to, they start matchmaking people. But not only that, they start pushing people to transition because of the whole divine masculine, divine feminine thing. And divine masculine and divine feminine are energies. And this is just what I've learned when I was on the journey. Divine masculine and divine feminine are energies that we all possess. It does not mean that that is the gender we need to be physically. And but they were twisting it. So they would start matchmaking people within the group, and then say one is the divine masculine and one is the divine feminine, even though a lot of the couples they were matching are straight. Nothing wrong with being, homosexual, but it needs to be a preference that you choose. They can't just tell you, oh, well, you need to, oh, you know what, transitioning to. That needs to be a choice. They can't just say, well, you're the divine masculine, you need to start dressing like a man. No. That is such, no. Just, and they were aggressively pursuing it. In the Amazon one, the Amazon series, they were talking about a lesbian couple who decided to be together. They were just the poster children of the union, and one of them, named Anne, she was pushed to change her gender to male and to be called Dan. And she has, she did communicate that she didn't like that. She was not comfortable with it. And Jeff just says, well, why are you running away from who you really are? We have a choice to say who we really are. If I'm a female and I'm lesbian, and that is who I feel happiest as, who are you to dictate that who I really am? Because she talks about how hard it was for her and her now wife to come out to their families because they were in heterosexual relationships their whole time, trying to deny what they felt for one another. The fact that they took the plunge to come out and say, hey, this is who I am, we want to be happy together. As a woman, leave it at that. Who are you to dictate who I am and am not? And what was very sad about, especially the Netflix one, were the families that lost their daughters, siblings, cousins to Twin Flame Universe over the promise of getting their ultimate lover. And my heart broke for them because I know if I was in that group, my mother would raise all hell and stop at nothing just to get me back. My mom would find that group and just take me back. And we need to realize that no group, no guru should isolate you from your family, especially if your family has done nothing but love you. It's not to say you can't walk away from toxic family, because it happens, and I know I've done the same. But if your mother, there's no love like a mother. A mother's love. It is the most powerful thing out there. If your mother has been a great mother, yeah, you guys have disagreements. But if your mother's been a great, normal mother, supportive of you, and a guru tries to tell you, no, she's demonic, she's psychotic, you need to run away. You need to run away. You shouldn't isolate your family. That's unconditional love. Family that fights for you, that tries to support you, tries to be there for you, should not be isolated. You should be open to having them part of your world and you being part of theirs. You don't want to miss out on any important life milestones because a guru wants you all to themselves. That it doesn't make sense. And it was very shocking and almost relieving to see these docuseries because I was relieved that I listened to my gut, but it was shocking because there are so many people that fall into this type of cult. When I was a tarot reader, you know, I believe I had a follower of TFU actually. She asked me for a reading, she paid for it, and at the time I didn't read her scenario, and I promised her a reading. Had I read the whole scenario, I would have just declined it and given her money back. I still gave her money back after. But apparently she had a no contact order against her from her twin flame, who has never spoken to her, who has never met her in real life, and she was convinced that she had to aggressively go after him. And because of the teachings. Because their teachings are telling people to aggressively go after your twin flame, regardless of if they have a restraining order against you. And this is very, very dangerous teachings because you're telling people to commit a crime, essentially. You're not teaching people about the free will of others. I know that it can be very intense to have this type of connection. I understand. I've been there, done that. It took 4 years for me to get out of this connection or to release it. And when I did finally release and learn my lessons, I felt peace. I felt at ease. I felt happy with who I was and who I am. I went for what I wanted. I made a career change. I saw the world in a different light. I let my twin flame go. I let him go, and I got married with someone who was the right fit, who was the right balance, who respected my boundaries, and I respected theirs. And that's just really important. You need to find someone who wants to be involved in the relationship as much as you do. And when I heard, from this girl that asked me for a tarot reading, she should keep aggressively going for this person, I told her no. Leave him alone. Respect his space. Respect his life. And in watching the documentary series, it reminded me of this girl because there was actual video evidence of Jeff telling someone to show up at their twin flame's doorstep every single day if they have to until this person comes back to them. And I was in such shock. Why would you tell this to anybody? You can't deny it because you're on video saying it in a video call. And so it was very disturbing for me to just watch this as someone who was part of this community, and someone who was part of the label. Do I regret being part of the label? No. It helped me understand where I need to reflect. However, I was not part of the TFU community itself because of one posting I saw that they said, what was it? They posted on, not Facebook, on Instagram, saying that no relationship will work out because you belong with your twin flame. And as I was reading the comment section, someone asked about what if your twin flame was with someone else. And at the time, my twin flame was married. He still is. At least I think so. I'm not sure. I don't keep up with him at all anymore. My twin flame was married, so I was like, oh, interesting question. I would like to know. And they said, well, it's bound to end anyways, one way or another, because you guys belong together. They're your true twin flame. And I just thought, this is such dangerous narratives being passed around. we're essentially just ignoring a person's free will. And I mean, on top of that, I also saw how much they charged, and I said, "Oh my God, this is so expensive." You can read the same teachings in a Google search, uh, for way less, obviously. And so I just wanted to come on here and make a reaction to both of the the series on Amazon and on Netflix, and I'm hoping anybody who's looking about Twin Flames or who's thinking about joining this community thinks twice, because no one should say that they're Jesus. No one should say that they are, because I think there has been times where they both called each other Divine Mother, Divine Father, giving birth to the Divine Baby. And to be fair, they also said everyone has like two twin flames, like they have three. I'm like, no, it's not a twin if there's a third. That doesn't make any sense. It's not a twin if there's a third. And the third they're referring to is their baby. It's a cute little baby. She's so adorable. I hope she's not, used as propaganda in a sense. Children are wonderful. But yeah, there's no three twin flames. That doesn't make any sense. That makes six. But whatever. Whatever floats their boat. But yeah, it's just ridiculous how people are really falling for it, and they're gaining a lot of a lot of momentum. Because again, like I said, the dating scene right now is so bad. Now I don't know, but I've had friends tell me, that, oh, you're lucky you found a good one. I mean, he's annoying sometimes, but it's a marriage. But I know the dating pool is so bad. I know it's really tough out here. And I just want people to please be patient. Don't follow these labels and put all your eggs in one basket. Just explore, just don't fall into these, okay? Don't desert your family for no good reason. Just don't follow these gurus, please. Please. They have no idea what they're talking about. They pretend to know. I know in some of their videos, he has books in the background about spiritual awakening and spiritual alignment, but he doesn't practice at all. He does nothing. Both of them know nothing. I know Shaleia was in the spiritual practices a lot longer than Jeff. Jeff is more of the mind behind the business. She is the minds behind the spiritual understandings, quote unquote, because they don't understand what they're doing or what they're talking about. They are recycling old teachings. They are probably rebranding them for their own sakes, and it's really gaining traction with people. What they're doing is very dangerous, and it's almost borderline criminal. And the only reason why they can get away with some of this because now they have their Church of Union. They're not stupid. Jeff is very, very smart. He knows how to deal with a business. He knows the business of religion. And it's just all a business transaction at the end of the day. I mean, they show off their Porsche, they show off the, Armani and the Chanel. Like, Jesus didn't care about that shit. Jesus did not. All he cared about was helping the poor, healing the poor. And so I hope people will just look at them from an unbiased way, and without feeling the need to be in the group because they want to find their ultimate lover. The ultimate lover is yourself. Love yourself. And love who you are. Love the family that's been there for you. Love the people that's been there for you, and open your heart to obviously learn new things, but don't turn your back on those that have been with you for the long run. Because like I said, Jeff and Shaleia, they're just strangers, and you're only as good as your pocket money. That's all you are to them, is money. Because they would not tell you or push people aggressively to do criminal acts. They will not let their ego come out in webcam calls when they feel like they're being disrespected. They would open their heart to understand what others see and feel. And I hope this message gets to the right person or people, and they start thinking twice about giving these people money and allowing these people to take control of their lives. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any comments or suggestions, put them in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!